When asked about the worst military defeats suffered by U.S. forces against Native Americans, most people would likely point to the Battle of Little Bighorn. However, this common belief is incorrect. Ironically, the worst defeat has no widely recognized name. Historians refer to it as St. Clair's defeat or the Battle of the Wabash, a catastrophic engagement in the Northwest Indian War. Before American independence, the Great Lakes region was a hotspot of conflict as British and French competition for the fur trade spilled into Native American lands. Indigenous tribes were drawn into the fray, some siding with the British and others with the French in a chaotic struggle. These early conflicts sowed the seeds for future resistance against any foreign invaders. The conclusion of the American War of Independence in 1783 and the signing of the Treaty of Paris granted the United States sovereignty over lands east of the Mississippi River and south of the Great Lakes. However, the native tribes inhabiting these lands were not consulted. In response, several tribes, including the Cherokee, Delaware, Miami, Ottawa, Ojibwe, Potawatomi, Shawnee, and Wabash nations, formed the Northwestern Native Confederacy. Leaders like Little Turtle of the Miami Nation and Blue Jacket of the Shawnee refused to recognize U.S. claims north of the Ohio River. The United States, eager to assert its authority, encouraged settlers to move into these newly claimed lands, creating immediate tensions with the native tribes who saw the settlers as invaders. The U.S. government considered these lands crucial to its expansion and economic future, while the native tribes were determined to defend their homes and preserve their way of life. Tensions escalated as American settlers pushed into the fertile Ohio Valley. Despite the Treaty of Paris, British forces maintained fur trading posts and armed the Native Confederacy, violating the treaty's terms. Settlers and land speculators, eager to claim the rich lands, frequently clashed with native tribes, leading to escalating violence. In 1790, President George Washington dispatched Brigadier General Josiah Harmer with 1,453 men to subdue Miami raids led by Little Turtle. The campaign ended in disaster when Harmer's forces were ambushed near modern-day Fort Wayne, Indiana, losing 262 men killed and 106 wounded. This humiliating defeat underscored the fragility of the young nation's military capabilities and fueled further resistance. Determined to secure the Northwest Territory, Washington ordered Major General Arthur St. Clair to lead another campaign in 1791. St. Clair's army of 1,400 men, composed mostly of inexperienced militia, faced severe supply shortages, desertions, and harsh weather as they advanced from Fort Washington, modern-day Cincinnati. St. Clair struggled with logistical challenges, including shortages of food, clothing, and ammunition. Disease and starvation weakened morale, and discipline deteriorated. His men were ill-prepared for the fierce and determined resistance awaiting them. The campaign began with high hopes but quickly descended into logistical chaos. Marching through dense forests and rugged terrain, St. Clair's troops faced constant supply shortages and diminishing rations. The harsh autumn weather compounded their struggles, with freezing rain soaking uniforms and making fires difficult to maintain. Desertions plagued the army. Many of the militia, poorly trained and equipped, abandoned the campaign when conditions worsened. St. Clair attempted to restore order but faced a breakdown in the chain of command. His officers, frustrated and demoralized, questioned the feasibility of continuing the campaign. Despite these difficulties, St. Clair pressed on, determined to establish a series of forts along the Wabash River to secure American claims. Each fort required time and resources, delaying the army's progress and stretching supply lines to the breaking point. On November 3, 1791, St. Clair's weary army camped near the headwaters of the Wabash River. Unbeknownst to them, 1,100 native warriors, led by Little Turtle and Blue Jacket, lay in wait. At dawn, The natives launched a surprise attack as U.S. soldiers were preparing breakfast. The militia panicked, fleeing through the main camp, causing chaos and confusion. St. Clair's regulars hastily formed battle lines and managed to repel the first wave with musket volleys and bayonet charges. St. Clair himself narrowly escaped death multiple times, despite several bullet holes in his clothing. However, the artillery's poorly aimed cannon fire did little to halt the attackers. Encircled on all sides, the U.S. forces endured a brutal 3-hour assault. The natives outflanked the American lines, cutting off any means of retreat. When defeat became inevitable, St. Clair ordered a desperate breakout. Many wounded and supplies were abandoned in the hastily organized retreat. The native forces allowed the fleeing soldiers to pass, but relentlessly pursued them for miles, killing stragglers. Survivors eventually reached Fort Jefferson, demoralized and shattered. The casualty rate was the highest ever suffered by the U.S. Army in a single battle. Of the original 1,400 men, 918 were killed and 276 wounded, a staggering 85% casualty rate. Native losses were estimated at only 60 dead and 40 wounded, underscoring the complete devastation inflicted on the American force. The U.S. government, shocked by the scale of the defeat, launched an investigation. St. Clair resigned, but the military recognized the need for a stronger, better-trained standing army. This realization prompted Congress to authorize the creation of the Legion of the United States under General Anthony Wayne, culminating in the eventual U.S. victory at the Battle of Fallen Timbers in 1794.
St. Clair's defeat offers numerous lessons on leadership, logistics, and military strategy. From failure in supply management to the consequences of underestimating Native American tactics, it highlights the importance of preparation and adaptability in warfare. It also serves as a testament to the resilience of indigenous people, whose unity and tactical prowess reshaped U.S. military policies for years to come.